Mama made me read a book.
Alright, so we start our story off way back before the dinosaurs were even a thing. Way back to ancient England. Now, in ancient England, there was this dude called something Penn. And this dude, something Penn, was a famous fighter on the ocean. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna war against the French. Ah! And he'd like be in these boats, you know, going and they'd go around like and so this dude was like, yo, I've got a family too, I'm not just a fighter. And so this family, boom, the son of him is called William Penn. And so something Penn was like, he's gonna be a fighter just like me, haha. Okay, and enough wars. Okay, so but this son, you see, he didn't exactly want to fight like his father. He wanted to be like, no, Dad, I want to be an intellectual. And so his dad was like, fine, you're gonna work for the king. But the boy was like, I am just a child. And so his father was like, fine, you're going into college. And so the boy was like, yo, I'm in college. And they were like, yo, you're stupid. And so yeah, this guy was just like, he went through college and he was actually pretty smart eventually. And then he went through college. Bye. So after college, this dude is like, yo, I'm older now, I'm graduated. And so he went through an early job thing. And then, but then all of a sudden he was like, yo, what is that noise? That's not a meme. Anyway, so he's just like, boom, there's this Quaker. He's like, yo, everybody needs to listen to Jesus more, you know? And so this dude was like, yeah, this dude is making sense. Let's all listen to Jesus more. And so he became a Quaker. But then everyone was like, boo, you're a Quaker. And then they threw food at him. But then he was like, I don't care, bruh. But worst of all, his father, you know, that father, he was really disappointed. And also, little fun fact about the father, he'd been thrown in jail for, because he had been framed for treason, even though he hadn't really even done anything against his own country. So yeah. Just a little tip. Yeah. Okay, so then this William Penn dude, you know, he's all like, yo, father, why are you like this? Why do you hate me? And his father's like, bruh, you're not a fighter like I wanted you to be. You're just this silly Quaker. And he's like, I am a fighter or something. And then he was like being brave, you know, going out and teaching even though they were being executed right and left. And people were like, bruh, you're Quaker, that's a bad thing. You're not supposed to listen to Jesus, you're supposed to listen to the church. And he was like, bruh, you got this all reversed. And so, yeah, there was like kind of like a war, but not really, you know? It was like a sad war. So yeah, it just turned out in this Quaker area, there was this lovely, lovely lady called something. So something was just like, she's like really hot, you know, like beautiful, you know, like I don't really know what she looked like, but apparently, according to the writer of the book, she was beautiful. She was like, so pretty. But only problem was, she was a Quaker, and that meant she wasn't very cool. However, guys all around her were just like, oh, we love you, you're so pretty, if only you weren't a Quaker. And so she's like, but I don't care. And so they're like, oh, just marry me. But they're like, nah. And so then, yeah. So, but then all of a sudden at this random, like, Quaker event, the two, William Penn met this lady who's like, nah. But then she was like, yeah. And so, yeah, they ended up falling in love. And then they got married. And then they had several kids. But then lots of those kids died. Because it was Old English time, you know. It was just normal for kids to perish. Because disease. Anyway, moving on. So, eventually, the dude, he was like, yeah. And then he got arrested because he was a Quaker, but he was writing a bunch of stuff about Quakering. But then when he was in prison, he was locked up in the exact same tower that his father had been locked up for treason so many years ago. And so he was, like, writing books still. And he was in there, it was like, treatment was so bad, he became bald and everything. Nearly bald. But, so yeah, this dude was still writing books left and right, and, you know, he was just like, oh my gosh, I am such a good writer. And so then guys were like, oh my gosh, if we keep him in here more, he's just gonna write more books. So eventually they let him out, and he was like, okay, thanks. And then he was like, I'm gonna start a colony. But it didn't start off that quickly because backtrack a little bit, and there was this dude, Fox dude, something Fox, and he was like, yo, Quakers, I found a land, the place across the sea, that place, yeah, they got natives on the land that, they need Jesus. And so everyone was like, oh my gosh, we can go over there. They care about us. And so, like, freedom. And so, yeah, there was, like, lots of people going that way into these colonies, now known as America. But, yeah, back then it was just like, the colony. Death. And so, so then this dude, William Penn, was just like, this sounds interesting, we could make a colony or something. And so, back up to the present, or at least the past and the present in that time, the present and the past, the dude was like, yeah, okay, let's do a colony. And so then they went across the ocean, and then they went because it took them several years to actually get there, because, I just like making that noise, but it took them so long to actually get there because there was just so, the English people were like, bruh, no, you can't have colony. You're like Puritan, Wait, yeah, that's the word, right? Yeah, Puritan. Yeah, you're like Puritan, That's like illegal. And so they're like, bruh. And so eventually, turns out, this William Penn dude, he was like, yo, the king. He's, like, my friend. Like, I knew him back in high school, and so, like, we're like, this close. Like, this close. And so, yeah, then the king was like, yeah, that's true. We're, like, buddies. And so, yeah, the king was like, bruh, yes, that is totally the truth. Come, and I shall give you your little country thing. Not country, little state area thing. And so, yeah, he went into the king thing, and the king was like, yeah, what should we call it? And he's like, I know, we should call it Sylvania. And then another person was like, oh, yeah, we should call it Pennsylvania, get it? Because your name is Penn. And William Penn was like, bruh, that's, like, demeaning. Or not demeaning, just like, bruh, why would you name a place after yourself? That sounds so mean. But then the king was like, bruh, you're gonna name it after yourself, or I'm gonna behead you or something. And Penn was just like, oh, sure, okay, fine. We'll call it Pennsylvania. I just thought that was an interesting side story. Anyway, so yeah, Penn went to Pennsylvania, and his oldest daughter died. Because, yeah, that happened a lot. So, yeah. In the colony, the dude was kind of like, bruh, how do I rule a place? How do I take care of a colony? He was really nice. Like, the natives came over and stayed at his house, like, ate dinner with him, like, every Saturday evening. I don't really know. But they would come over and chill and be like, yes, we like this man. He is good. So, yeah, then the people living there were like, oh, yes, he's very nice. He gives us rights. He lets us do stuff, and he doesn't tax us for tea. Jolly good. And so, yeah, Penn was like, yes, I am a very nice person, but only problem was his son had left him for a lady 4 years older than him, and it was just really sad, and there was a lot of stuff going on, and he was just depressed, so he got more, I don't know, he has some sort of health issues too. Anyway, so eventually he was like, I can't do this by myself, so he got more people to help him. I can't remember their names. Joey and Billy. Joey and Billy were like, yes, we'll help you. And so, yeah, they're like, totally good. But then, like, the people eventually were like, you know what? We like this whole rights thing, but, like, we don't want to pay you anymore. And so Penn was like, okay, fine, because to be honest, he was kind of a pushover. But he was also very kind. And so they stopped paying him. They stopped paying taxes and pretty much everything until eventually he was, like, broke. He'd given everything away to, like, the Indians and his friends and the colony, and yeah, it was just kind of sad, his wife even died. He married someone, like, 20 years younger than him. It was just kind of sad. So, yeah. William Penn. He died eventually. I'm not even gonna record this a second time.